Hi, I'm Dr. Courtney at Impact Chiropractic in Fort Collins, Colorado, and today we are going to be talking about x-rays. We take x-rays because it is really important for us to be able to see exactly what's going on with each of our patients. We never want to guess when it comes to your health, and we want to make sure that we're adjusting as specific as possible to your body's needs. The problem is that we are all a combination of all of the traumas we've been through throughout our life, big and small. And each of those traumas start to create stressors on our spine and in our body that will affect our structure. And over time, those pressures create weakness, which then make us more susceptible to injuries. And that's where a lot of our issues stem from. So before we go in and adjust you, we want to know exactly what's happening so that we can make sure we're taking care of you and reaching your maximum potential. The most common views that we take on our patients are two of the neck, one from the front and one from the side view, and then two of the lower half of the spine from the front and the side view. This way it allows us to see the majority of that patient's spine and structure so we can determine if we are the best fit for caring for them. So now I'm going to go ahead and analyze x-rays, and while I do, I'm going to explain to you exactly what I'm looking for. So the very first x-ray that we start with is going to be the neck from the side view. And what we want to see here is a nice banana-shaped curve. So in our office, we actually are going to measure that to see exactly where that patient is at. So we're going to start with the second bone in that neck, and we see that they have a 13-degree curve in through there. It should be 45 degrees. We're also going to take the measurement of the most important bone in our body, which is that top bone where the brainstem sits, and we want to see that measures like a rocket ship shooting into space at 31 degrees, and we are getting a 14-degree curve. The next thing that we're going to check for is something called forward head posture. So our head is really heavy. It is the size of a bowling ball. We want our ear to be in line with our shoulder. And so when our head starts to shift forward, that is also going to put a lot of stress and strain, not only on our neck, but on the rest of our body, and can create some of that tension that people experience in their shoulders. So we want to see that that's 0 millimeters, and that's measuring at 40 millimeters. So this is definitely a problem and placing a lot of stress on this patient's nervous system. So the next x-ray that we are going to look at is from the front view, and we always are looking for balance and symmetry here. So first, we're going to measure those shoulders, and we want them to be nice and even. So this patient, it's actually not too bad. We're seeing that it's about 4 millimeters off. However, what we really want to make sure we're measuring is going to be this curve through that mid-spine. So we're going to go ahead and measure those angles. And so we are seeing that this patient does have more of that scoliotic type of curve through there. Now we always will draw a green line on the center of the x-ray because we want to make sure that their spine is as close to that green line as possible. And we can see that that patient is pretty far from that green line, okay? So that's going to create, again, a lot of imbalances, muscle tension, and again, that pressure on that nervous system. So as we move down, we are going to go ahead into that lower back. And again, we're looking for that balance and symmetry through here. So we want those hips to be nice and even. And this is a huge difference. This patient's pelvis is almost 22 millimeters lower on that left side, which is definitely not normal and is a huge reason why people are going to have lower back pressure, pain, and can even lead to things like constipation, digestion, irregular periods. So a lot can happen in this region here. We're also noticing that the sacrum is not balanced either. So we're seeing that that's about 14 millimeters off. And we have that huge scoliotic curve in through there. So we're going to go ahead and measure that. And with that, we are taking it from basically the bottom of the bone to the top of where that bone is. We see that the biggest curve is taking place. And we are seeing that that's measuring at about 18 degrees. Just like the one we saw before in that upper region, we do want that spine to be as close to that center green line as possible. I think of our spine like the foundation of a house. So if you don't have a solid foundation, then that house is going to come down. Our body is not all that different. This is going to lead to a lot of those compensations and problems that people experience. And the last x-ray that we're going to look at is the low back from the side view. So just like the neck, we do want to see that nice banana-shaped curve at 45 degrees. The reason that this is so important is because I think of this like the shock absorbers of our car. Those forces, we want our body to be able to take them in. So when we have that curve, forces are able to be absorbed. If we straighten that curve out, we get a jamming effect. If we have too much of a curve, we're gonna get a compressive force. So when we look at this x-ray here and we measure it, we're taking it from the top of the lumbar bones, so L1 to L5, and we can see that that's actually measuring at 21 degrees, which is absolutely a problem and going to create a lot of that jamming and irritation for that patient.